to. Well, good morning, sun worshipers. This is George McClellan at FetcherNews.com. This is George's Hour, 10 to 11 every day, except probably Fridays. And we come to you on North Georgia's only live internet talk show. And of course, the big news now is the debate last night, and I've got my opinions. We heard Jennifer Hazelton during Brian's hour, and pretty much she was spot on. She did not try to cover up the scars and the scratches, but you know, there's a lot of things going on out there that were not covered in that debate. I did not expect them to be covered in that debate. I really expected that there would be a chance for gotcha questions. I think Lester Holt tried that. I think, as even Brian indicated, and as he even saw, the questions were asked that allowed Hillary Clinton to favorably answer and look presidential. She did look presidential. She looked healthy. She did look healthy last night, and I don't know if they had a stick up in the back and propped her up, or how it made it work, or she was pumped up with her medication. No idea. But she did look healthy last night. She had that bright red dress on. Trump had a blue tie. So she was in the power color, and Donald was not. However, I did some checking this morning. Most polls show that Trump won. But that is, in my opinion, a measure of the voter enthusiasm. I don't believe anything was accomplished last night. My friend Joe McCutcheon thought Trump won. 18.6 million Facebook users and 10 million tweeters agreed that Trump won. But I thought Hillary actually came out of that debate last night, by perception, as looking more presidential, a winner. And I say again, the debate was useless for changing minds. I don't think anybody changed their minds out there, including the undependables, particularly the undependables. The pro-Trumpers remain pro-Trump. Not because he scored any gotcha points. He did. He threw out some good points, but because there's a signal change coming in America's body politic, and it's underway. It's a revolution of sorts, and Trump is leading it. And people no longer want the old guard of corrupt politics or liars, as is Hillary Clinton, as their leaders. Hillary looked presidential. Trump acted petulant, and he drifted. He needs to take elocution lessons and increase his vocabulary. I think it would help. It might be too late for a fellow that age, but it would certainly have been better if he could have articulated in better terms. But the fact is that Trump is leading a revolution, and we're following him in that revolution. Most of us are. As usual, Hillary was boring. And to those of us who are acquainted with the Hillary story, her comments, while nonsensical, were disguised lies. And she lies all the time. She cannot help it. But the fact checkers were checking Trump's comments. Nobody was checking Hillary's comments. And that's sad, because that's a predisposition towards favoring the Democrat side. And as I said the other day, the media will do anything to make sure that the helm of running this government stays in Democrat hands. And when I say Democrat hands now, today, I mean Marxist hands. Her excursion into protecting America's secrets from hacking. So when they were talking about cyber security, she lofted the ball up there, a softball up there. It was hanging, and he could have smacked that one right out of the park by just commenting, well, did you contribute to that problem by having an email server that somebody out there has clearly hacked? We already talked about your 30,000 deleted emails. That was a crime. Don't you think that was a crime, criminal to do that? Criminal act to do that? Yes, it was. But he didn't do it, and I heard him today say, well, he didn't want to, Chelsea was sitting out in the audience, and he didn't want to embarrass Chelsea or look like he was going after Hillary. But I suspect that the next debate, we will see a different Trump out there. He was feeling his way. Jennifer Hazelton this morning as much said he's never been a debater before on the presidential stage. Well, yes, he has. All those Republican debates for the primary, they were still presidential debates, and they counted. And they counted for experience. And he was able to put away 16 other contenders for the role. Lester Holt brought up his tax returns, Trump's tax returns, and to me they're of absolute no consequence. And why? Because he's a multi-billionaire. His company is under audit constantly, and if anything had ever been found, it would have been out there in the public eye. And she says, oh, he's got to be hiding something. Well, she's hiding something. How about those 30,000 emails then? There was not a comeback on that. He could have attacked her on that. Listen, I could care less about Trump's tax returns. What's $1 million here, $1 million there? It'd be important to me, maybe to you. I might have had to explain it. But to Trump, that's chump train change. And so that was all designed to give Hillary to give Hillary Clinton an opportunity to attack Trump on something she felt comfortable with. His tax returns, if he files tax returns like you and I do, he certainly don't go for a short form. I'll bet you the amount of paper used in reporting his tax returns goes to the hundreds of pounds in weight. I think that Trump's best line was, you've had 30 years, referring to Hillary's desire now to make changes. She had 30 years to do it. Actually, when you consider the time she was a first wife for a governor of Arkansas, we can stretch that out to 40 years. She's had 40 years. So the stage was set for the next debate. And I do not believe that the Trump team is going to allow Lester Holt. Lester has sounded good. He's got a nice, deep, resonant voice, and he talks about a voice that overcomes everybody. And he asked the questions that allowed his candidate, Hillary, to respond favorably. She brought up Iraq. He was in favor of the invasion of Iraq. Well, listen, let me tell you. When the Iraq thing happened, Trump was a businessman working in New York City building buildings. When Hillary destroyed Libya and murdered Omar Gaddafi, he was the building real estate man, mogul, in New York City. He had nothing to do with that. Who cares what his opinion is and whether we should have gone into Iraq or we should have gone destroyed Libya? He wasn't a politician. He was a citizen just like you and I, and we have our opinions, and he has his opinion too. So why do they think it's necessary, Lester Holt and the Democrats, to attack Trump on that? If he was a politician running for re-election, that would be fair game. But he's not. He's just a businessman. But his best line is, you've had 30 years. I think all evening we heard that. Now, one thing that Hillary said that was very important, she alluded to the fact that the recovery didn't start until Obama became president. And she didn't use Obama, but she said the last 8 years, 2008. The recovery? Why did we need a recovery? Is because the last 2 years of the Bush administration was a total Democrat Congress, the House and the Senate. They set the policy, they made the tax rules, and they're the ones that screwed up the housing market with Dodd-Frank, Barney Frank's rules. They're the ones who started the decline of America's finances into the Bush administration. And that was something Bush had to clean up. But the last 2 years of Bush's administration, of 8 years, he was in 6 years, and then the last 2 years was once again a total Democrat Congress. And they did nothing. They did nothing. So now we have a total Republican Congress with a Democrat president, Obama, and now Obama and Hillary are claiming recovery, increased jobs is coming up, but I don't think 1.9% GDP is anything to brag about, but it is turning around, and it's turning around because we have a Republican Congress and a Republican House and Senate, and they are stopping some of this nonsense that the communist government is trying to impose. They're kind of bringing it to an end. That pen and telephone business, I think, is about over. It's about over. We have other things that are coming up I'll discuss in another show that are alarming and need to be killed right now in the bud. Now, I mentioned earlier my good friend Joe McCutcheon, and he tweeted last night when I got home. I looked up Joe's thing, and Joe said, in my opinion, Trump has clearly won the debate. I predicted that Trump will defeat Hillary in a landslide. If you support Trump as I do, please call everybody. And you have known since you were 5 years old and asked them to vote for Trump for the future of our country. He's absolutely right in all of that. He's absolutely right. But he had some immediate responses, but he left so much off on the table. One Facebook person said. And another one said, there are 4 more debates. Of course, 4 more, I think there's 3 more, and one of them, the 4th one will be the vice presidential debate. There are 4 more debates. Clearly, Trump was ill tonight, and I think that's what she meant to say. He appeared tired and was sniffing, drinking water a lot. I believe he was not on his target tonight. He must remember he is the Republican nominee. We need him to defeat Clinton. She will continue the Obama agenda. We must stop her. And those are written in caps. She's screaming at us, and she's absolutely right. This writer is. Another one, Hillary Clinton was the epitome of the lying, polished politician that we have all grown to despise. I love this rhetoric this woman uses. This is wonderful. Good job, Vicki. And have said for years that we want to get rid of. Why? Oh, why do people say one thing and do another? They keep voting these smiling facades back into office over and over again. To me, Trump came across as a normal guy, not a well-rehearsed, phony politician. I think we are all so brainwashed to believe that our leaders must be Stepford politicians we've become accustomed to, that we discount our own best possibility. I also believe that Trump was holding back on his response so as not to look like he was a man beating up on a woman. And he even said at the end that he had some very harsh things he could have said about her, but chose not to because it wasn't the right thing to do. I pray that God will honor that. These are people responding to Joe McCutcheon's Facebook posting. And another one says, nicely put, but some good points were made. Go Trump. I believe it was close. Trump missed an opportunity on the email questions. Absolutely, he could have destroyed her right there. That would have ended the night. Hillary is a dishonorable, habitual liar. We all know that. We'd like to have a little more, if we're going to bother to Facebook, it would be nice to have a little more reasoning instead of just a statement. Here's one person who scored at 70-30 Clinton. Trump was hard to watch. I am pro-Trump, but I see it as a tie. Hillary won on charity and demeanor, and Trump on substance. He did get in the weeds a bit trying to explain her attacks. He needs to compress his defense into sound bites or turn, in other words, on ISIS security. he should have responded back about her desire to bring in 550,000 Islamic refugees and save his lengthy words to attack and explain her failures. The questions were biased, and I agree with that. Trump's taxes, the birth thing, but none asked of Clinton about Benghazi, her emails to the foundation. Hopefully he will learn from this before the next debate. So it's time for this station to earn a few shekels, and so we'll get out of here for a few words from our sponsors. See you on the other side.
Right now at Pizza Hut, you can get any 2 medium pizzas for $6.99 each. Get any toppings, any crust flavor, anything you want for just $6.99 each. And sweeten the deal with a Hershey's Triple Chocolate Brownie for just $5.99. Only at Pizza Hut.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Ellijay.
The summer sell down is on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper with huge savings up to 16% off MSRP. Save over $4,100 off Malibu Limited, now just $19,500. Save $9,500 on loaded Silverado Crew Cab LT, now only $38,700. Save up to 16% off MSRP on select new Chevys in stock during the summer sell down. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hello, America. The first ever $5 flavor menu is here, and it's a game changer. For just $5 each, you can get a medium one-topping pizza, Wing Street Wings, a Hershey's cookie, and your other Hut favorites. A Pizza Hut pizza for just $5. It's the ultimate crowd pleaser.
How are you feeling, crowd?
Very pleased, thank you.
We do what we can here.
$5 for a Pizza Hut pizza. How can we not be pleased?
Good crowd today.
The $5 flavor menu, America's best pizza deal, only at Pizza Hut.
Well, welcome back to Georgia's Hour on FetchYourNews.com, FYN TV. You can reach me at 706-889-9700, or you can email me to George at fetchyournews.com if you have a comment or you want something to say. We'll continue on with this interesting discussion on last night's debate and other people's responses to it. I'd left off with, here's one, the one immediately after Randall's, who said he was pro-Trump. Bob said, good summation, but to me, demeanor includes facial expressions. Go back and observe Hillary's eyes and the way she had that howdy doody smile pasted on. It was kind of scary. Actually, maybe more like a Chucky smile. Howdy doody, if you didn't, for those of millennials who don't know what, howdy doody was a hand puppet on KTTV television in Los Angeles back in the 1950s during the black and white days. And it was a creation of a comedian who just died recently. In Howdy Doody, Bob Bennett. No, I'm thinking of Time for Benny. Bob Bennett, Buffalo Bill or Buffalo Bob is his character with a cotton shirt on, looked like had fringes and everything, and it was a hand puppet. Howdy Doody. Time for Howdy Doody. So that was back in the 50s. I'm dating myself. I was a kid then, mind you. But anyway, Chucky Smile, of course, we're not talking about Chuck E. Cheese, the pizza people, but the evil doll in the movie. Ed Singleton, he said, Joe, I agree with George Mack, and he was referring to my earlier comment. I do not think Trump swayed anyone who was on the fence. He needs to harp more on small business benefits and more on the tax increases Hillary will endorse. I call it a tie. I agree with Ed on that one. Another Eddie says, yes, it was the winner. He was the winner. Paul says, I believe that Trump was interrupted by the moderator, Lester Holt, much more than Hillary was. I believe she was handled very gently. But overall, given the entire picture, I would have to go with a tie. She scored points against him with her attacks on him with women, especially, and she failed to make points on the race issue. If anything, she lost points on that question. That's one man's opinion. And then he wasn't finished. He comes back. Paul says, I think also that her permanent smile could have been further enhanced by adding brightly colored makeup, like the Joker, her twin brother. She looked like a clown, a true buffoon. Well, now he's letting his personal feelings get in the way of the actual facts of the debate. But there we are. That's what they're saying out there in flyover country. That's what the undependables are saying. Another person responded, and I printed this one off, and directly to me, as one of the deplorables, we will just pray for all undecided voters to decide America does not need her in the White House, and we can all live with a few of his non-perfections. Lord, please bring America back to where she can be, and it cannot happen under her. That was Sherry. And one of our Tea Party luminaries said, looks like we weren't the only people that noticed Holt's unfairness to the questions. At tonight's debate, Donald Trump faced off not just Hillary Clinton, but against moderator Lester Holt, and of course, indeed, the left-leaning media all around, because they were alive today on their shows, saying Hillary won decisively. And of course, what we hear from the left-leaning media, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, those people, is that they will support Hillary. They will do anything. They will do anything to maintain a progressive in the White House. Our Tea Party luminary continues that the game of 2-on-1 saw Holt ask no questions about Hillary's emails, Benghazi, the Clinton Foundation. Now, Benghazi and the emails can go hand in hand. The Clinton Foundation. And while ignoring these issues, Holt grilled Trump on stop and frisk, and I will go into that more, stop and frisk, to give you an absolute understanding. The birther story, his comments about women, his many bankruptcies, why he wasn't why he hasn't released his tax returns, and a host of other issues, the media seems as unfriendly to the Republican candidate. Holt also repeatedly attempted to fact check on some of Trump's positions, such as his claim to have opposed the Iraq War from the beginning, but nobody fact checked Hillary's comments. Just wasn't there. So if you have anything you'd like to say, send them to George at fetchyournews.com, and we'll discuss them tomorrow. It's I would love to do that, or you can call on the radio and talk to me now. However, one thing came up, one thing is lurking now in the shadows that will be probably devastating. We have been outraged, absolutely outraged, when the director of the FBI, James Comey, stood up there in front of a television and told the world that Hillary Clinton was guilty as hell of violating the United States security rules and regulations regarding the handling of classified information documents with her private server, passed it off as a unintentional event, and therefore they would not prosecute her. Subsequent to that, we've had several military people that were prosecuted for doing exactly the same thing, but like one document or one release of some information contrary to those laws. So the prosecutions go on, but the prosecution of Hillary Clinton does not go on. We were outraged at that. We wondered why a man would hazard his reputation and the reputation of the agency he leads by participating in what is clearly a government cover-up, Well, the truth come out. The truth come out. It is because our lying president, Obama, who told us on the news that he learned about Hillary's email server reading the newspapers like we do, and he lied. He lied. He used a pseudonym, and he actually communicated with Hillary on her private email server. Now, I will tell you this, I know this from my personal experience, but anything that emanates from the fingertips and the pen of the President of the United States, other than signing his name to a law or a document, becomes classified, just on the face of it. And then it's later determined or decided what classification it should have, but it's classified. Using a pseudonym is classified, and he used a pseudonym. Here are 27 things we learned from the new Clinton FBI files dumped last Friday night. Witnesses were nervous about talking to the FBI about Hillary Clinton and her email server. President Obama used a pseudonym. Where we're going with this is the FBI wasn't after Hillary Clinton. They were protecting Barack Obama. And there's something powerful back there that makes that FBI director afraid to tell the truth and go after the criminals in our justice system. There's a trail of dead people as well behind Hillary Clinton. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Obama used a pseudonym to contact Clinton at her private email address, which he later claimed he didn't know about. Are we surprised? You can keep your doctor if you like your doctor. If you like your insurance, you can keep your insurance. Do you remember that, among other things? He didn't know about Clinton's team, he claimed, that they tried to destroy emails from her server after the New York Times reported that she had only done nearly all of her work on it, with staffers even shattering the disks that contained them. Clinton's staff lost a thumb drive that contains all of her emails, public, private, classified, and unclassified. These are among the few of the revelations in that new document dump we just got last Friday night. Now, one reason I think that they picked Monday night, last night, for the debate, as far as trying to hide things, is there's two popular programs on Monday night, Dancing with the Stars and Monday Night Football. Well, Monday Night Football was moved to ESPN. Dancing of the Stars was limited to 1 hour. So if you missed anything, you could pick it up tonight. But every station included that debate last night. You couldn't get away from it. The FBI dumped 189 pages, a summary of interviews conducted in the year-long investigation of Hillary Clinton's private server, which shed new light on the shifting stories Clinton's aides told agents. The report, which was made public Friday evening, came on the heels of House Republican revelation that 3 additional witnesses had received immunity agreements from the Justice Department, bringing the total number of witnesses who were shielded from prosecution to 5. Did we learn anything from these people? The immunity is designed to allow them to talk freely. If there's nothing hanging over their head, I mean, the FBI does not ask questions they don't already know the answers to. And the immunity can be given at the very end when they're getting ready to sign the statement that has already been typed out while they speak, implicating themselves, inculpating themselves into the crime. Someone was messing with the Freedom of Information Act, according to this article from the Washington Examiner. After the public learned of Clinton's private email use, Congress and watchdog groups began demanding the release of emails. The House Select Committee on Benghazi had already requested records related to the 2012 terror attack in Benghazi, and Freedom of Information Act cases that had been closed improperly started to come back to life. But one witness told the FBI he believed there was interference with the formal FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act review process. That witness pointed to the collection of 296 Benghazi emails that were among the first records to emerge publicly from Clinton's email trove. The unnamed individual told the FBI that State Department officials had included redactions done for Clinton's privacy, but unrelated to national security. Well, who makes that decision and why? The committee in the Congress wanted to make that decision. They demanded those, and they had subpoenas for that information. So somebody in the White House, under the protection of the only person who could give it, the president, were ordered not to do it. We don't hear the word presidential privilege associated with this because this is a State Department deal. But that's where it comes from anyway. According to the witness, State Department officials at one point attempted to classify information in order to have an excuse to redact it, even though the agency's own office said it wasn't worthy of classification. The witness said he and other career officers, and that's State Department officers, who were typically involved in the Freedom of Information Act process and in responding to congressional inquiries, were cut off from the loop when Clinton's emails needed processing. Instead, new staffers, unknown people, were placed by top state officials. Top has to be Huma Abedin, Cheryl Mills, and Hillary Clinton. To take over the job of steering Clinton's emails, of screening Clinton's emails. The witness said the officials, whose identities were redacted, had a very narrow focus on all the Clinton-related items and were put in positions that were not advertised. FOIA reviews are supposed to be performed by career officials. That's people not appointed politically. People who are in that job for the long term, to retire, to prevent politics from affecting the government's response, particularly in the case as politically fraught as the Clinton email situation. Clinton deleted nearly 1,000 emails with General Petraeus. Now, this is brand new. Petraeus went over on a simple, went down on a simple misdemeanor charge that he admitted guilty to. In August of last year, 2015, the Pentagon called the State Department and informed an unnamed official there that CENTCOM, Central Command, record showed approximately 1,000 work-related emails between Clinton's personal email and General David Petraeus. The FBI noted that most of those 1,000 emails were not believed to be included in the 30,000 emails that Clinton turned over to the State Department in December of 2014. Oh, the plot thickens. Officials felt pressure not to classify any Benghazi emails. I feel pressure right now to go to another commercial break, and we will do that right now. Cole, take us out of here, and we'll see you on the other side.
Right now at Pizza Hut, you can get any 2 medium pizzas for $6.99 each. Get any toppings, any crust flavor, anything you want for just $6.99 each. And sweeten the deal with a Hershey's Triple Chocolate Brownie for just $5.99. Only at Pizza Hut.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
El Rey and Elijah.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Elijah.
The summer sell down is on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper with huge savings up to 16% off MSRP. Save over $4,100 off Malibu Limited. Now just $19,500. Save $9,500 on loaded Silverado Crew Cab LT. Now only $38,700. Save up to 16% off MSRP on select new Chevys in stock during the summer sell down. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hello, America. The first ever $5 flavor menu is here, and it's a game changer. For just $5 each, you can get a medium one-topping pizza, Wing Street Wings, a Hershey's cookie, and your other Hut favorites. A Pizza Hut pizza for just $5. It's the ultimate crowd pleaser.
How are you feeling, crowd?
Very pleased, thank you.
We do what we can here.
$5 for a Pizza Hut pizza. How can we not be pleased?
Good crowd today.
The $5 flavor menu, America's best pizza deal, only at Pizza Hut.
Well, welcome back, fun seekers. This is George McClellan doing the last few minutes of my show, 10 o'clock, 10 to 11 o'clock. It's Georgia's Hour on FetcherNews.com, North Georgia's only live internet talk show. You're free to call in 706-889-9700 or communicate to me at george@fetchingnews.com. Love to hear about it. We've been talking almost this entire hour about the debate last night, and the fact that Lester Holt is in the tank for Democrats was apparent, and a lot of people mentioned that. And I happen to have written one of my little political essays on exposure, the left's media problem, the left being the mainstream media. The mainstream media, and this is classified under George's final thoughts, the mainstream media can't keep up the charade anymore. Some in their ranks are begrudgingly acknowledging they are liberal and in the Democrat pocket, and admittedly have morphed from journalists to political acolytes of progressive liberalism. They will do anything to keep a Marxist at the helm of America's government. They're all in for Hill. Inadvertent apostates from liberal dogma, like poor Matt Lauer of NBC's Today Show, who failed to pursue the media's understood rules of lobbing easy questions to liberals and gotcha questions to conservatives, is learning to his chagrin that even being popular on air is not proof against public crucifixion for his apostasy. How dare him ask Hillary tough questions requiring answers that she doesn't want to know the answer to. That was shocking, absolutely. This Monday, that's last night, in the first face-to-face public debate between Hillary and the Donald, to be moderated again by a liberal acolyte of progressive journalism, Lester Holt, using poor Matt Lauer as an example, these pundits are threatening the moderators, warning them to be tough on Trump and to give Hillary a pass. Well, who have thought? I wrote this yesterday, the day before the debate. Now, was I predicting the truth? Already, the media thought police have declared Donald Trump to be insufferably polarizing, not to mention being a racist, a sexist, and unqualified to be president, and therefore fair game for the hard questions, not on the issues, but on his racism, sexism, and temperament. Poor Matt Lauer is being pillared for actually asking Hillary about her email scandal, but not telling Trump to his face that he was unqualified. Failing to do what was expected of him, Lauer is now derided as a fool and an embarrassment. His failure constitutes a serious crisis for them. Someone told the truth. Conservatives are clearly to be treated by different standards than liberals. In a recent New York Times article, Jim Rutenberg warned his colleagues, and I will quote, if you're a working journalist and you believe that Donald Trump is a demagogue playing to the nation's worst racist and nationalistic tendencies, that he cozies up to anti-American dictators, and that he would be dangerous with control of the United States nuclear codes, how the heck are you supposed to cover him? It is journalism's job to be true to the readers and viewers, true to the facts, in a way that will stand up to history's judgment. To do anything less would be untenable. Now read between the lines on this one. History's judgment? Who makes that judgment? The winner makes that judgment. History is written by the winners. Among other Eastern liberals, the New York Times is still a voice of reason, but articles like Rutenberg's disclose the sick mindset that destroys journalistic objectivity. Maureen Dowd, another Times writer, told NBC's Chuck Todd on Meet the Press that she and her friends can't stand Trump. Okay, fair enough. One of my friends, Leon Wiesletier, calls it national emergency. My friends won't even read any. If I do interviews with Trump, they won't read him. And basically, they would like to censor any stories that Trump and also censor about Trump, and also censor any negative stories about Hillary. They think she should have a total free pass because, as she said at that fundraiser recently, I'm the only thing standing between you and the abyss. The abyss. Yes, she is the standing at the edge of the abyss, pointing to the hole, leading us as a country to it. It will not be Trump. Are we having fun yet? Actually, watching the apparatus of liberal journalism start to fling itself apart by the centrifugal forces of its lies, disinformation, and misinformation, when coming apart like a cheap Chinese watch, brings with it a deep moral comfort and unmistakable joy. Yes, we are having fun. We are enjoying it. We love it because it exposes them, the media, for what they really are, enemies of America. Journalists who as U.S. citizens enjoy the protection of the First Amendment right to lie, cheat, and steal, and use that right to destroy the very America that we're trying to protect. And that is my thoughts on that subject. We're going to continue back with, go back to the dialogue with the involvement of Obama, the protection of Obama and the FBI's reasoning for it. Let me find the right place here. Well, I tell you what. Are we having fun yet? This stuff either works fine or it doesn't work at all. We'll go over talk about some of the issues. We are ignoring because of the debate last night, we are ignoring some of the other things that are in the news that are of particular interest. The FBI said that there is no indication of a terror cell involved in the New York, New Jersey bombings. We'll see about that. Another surprise, Trump doing roughly the same among Hispanics as recent GOP candidates are doing. He's making headway there. Hispanics are not stupid people. A lot of them might be poor, but they're not dumb. I could testify to that right here in this county when I read to Hispanic children. They love it. They speak English with a Georgia accent. I'm always amused by that. Hillary, she said she has been in favor of tough vetting for migrants. I do not see any evidence that she has been in favor of that. She wants to increase, and she has said she would increase bringing more Syrian Muslims into this country. The only Syrian Muslims they are importing into this country are young males without families, unattached, without children, and they're here. Why are they here? Because they're an army of invasion, and they're being brought in on UPS airplanes, among other things. And she wants to continue Obama's policy with that. They need to be sent to Syria, returned to Syria. As a matter of fact, Germany is already starting to send them back. One or two of the Scandinavian countries is already starting to send them back with good excuses. And what we need to spend our money for, if we're going to help these people at all, is to build camps south of Aleppo and let them fight over there or protect their camps. But we don't need to bring them here where they try to destroy this country. There's on one of my shows coming up, we're going to go into the jihad problems that are not being talked about here in America. They're not being talked about. They're being ignored. And we should be alarmed. We should absolutely be alarmed. Here was an email that I just got. The debate moderator was a Hillary shill, and it says, oops, I guess I forgot to ask about the Clinton Foundation, her emails, and illegal immigration, but I did get in that tough question about Obama's birth certificate. Well, what do you think about that? Who cares? that's old news. He will be out of office here very shortly, and we're still wondering what it's all about. I just love this stuff. It's getting out of hand. My goodness, there are so many emails now about that. I told Joe this last night. I sent to Joe after I got home from the debate. Said, I have to disagree with you, Joe. Trump needs elocution lessons and an increased vocabulary. Hillary, acted presidential. He acted petty. Everything she said was a lie and could have been slam dunked. And he didn't, but he didn't. She harped and he drifted. It was not his best effort. And that was my takeaway from watching that debate last night. And then other people have come back. And I've read all of those already. So we are, see if there's any more. Yep, no, that's it. I think everybody said what they're going to say. But we have a media problem, as I read in my short take. CNN, the Clinton News Network, now literally is putting words in Trump's mouth. CNN, I cannot see CNN ever being moderators again at a presidential debate, because they lie like she does. She has set the standard for lying, and it is okay for them to lie, but not okay for Trump to tell the truth without being involved in controversy. CNN, what's going on at CNN in terms of their hard news and their editing process. The latest questionable achievement in journalism coming out of Atlanta, and that's CNN headquarters, caught my attention by the way of Scott Adams' Twitter feed. I don't know who Scott Adams is. You may, some of you may, but I'll find out. Highlighting an instance where the most trusted name in the news, CNN, ran a Krylon, C-H-Y-R on Cryon, which is rather pointedly edited comments made by Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, while discussing the issue of profiling and once again using travel Israel as an example. The Donald failed to use a word which would have made the comment far more incendiary to the left, so CNN took the liberty of inserting this incendiary word for him. The word is racial, adding the word racial to Trump's quote. Trump also talked about stop and frisk. The stop and frisk revealed itself in my very first or second year as a California Highway Patrol officer, and it came in the guise of Terry versus Ohio. We just called them Terry searches. And basically what it was, in Ohio, this a surveillance squad watching for a suspected attempted burglary saw two men on the street at night. They walked back and forth 24 times. They walked back and forth in front of a building, looked into the darkened windows, and the officers, the detectives, using their binoculars presumably, recognized one of them as a fellow named Terry. They knew who he was. They knew he was a criminal. Burglary was his profession. So they went and confronted Terry and his mate, presumably. They knew Terry had a history of violence. So here we have two officers standing, talking to a man, and they want to make sure they're not shot dead, or they have to kill him. So they did a search. And the search was limited to his waistband and his legs to make sure that he was not armed. He was armed, and he was arrested for being armed, a felon with a gun. And he was taken to jail, and he appealed, and his appeal ended up in the Supreme Court. The appeal was against unlawful search and seizure. They're saying that the policeman had no probable cause to stop, detain, even search Terry. Well, the Supreme Court ultimately came out and said, yes, they do. They knew Terry to be a criminal. And he displayed specific traits and characteristics on that street which would tell a reasonable police officer that this guy's casing the joint for a crime. So they stopped him, they searched him, they found the gun, and arrested him for that. Now, here's where Terry ends. The policeman can take that gun, or they can search you. And if they search you and not find a gun or a weapon that will endanger them, then they'll let you go. They cannot go into your pockets and look for marijuana or stolen rings. They have to search for that gun. It's a pat-down search, and that's what Terry's all about. That's what stop and frisk is all about. And I believe I've about consumed my the living, breathable air in this room. My hour's about up, and we'll see you tomorrow. So Cole, if you'll take us out of here, bye-bye.